Hello, and welcome to Mythbusters Ursuline Edition. Today we are going to be teaching you about an experiment we did with Pop Rocks and Coke. Have you ever heard that your stomach might explode if you eat Pop Rocks and drink Coke at the same time? Do you know why this would happen? Do you believe that this will cause your stomach to explode? What do you think will happen? So what is a Pop Rock? A Pop Rock is a small piece of hard candy that has been gasified with carbon dioxide under super atmospheric pressure. When the candy pieces come in contact with moisture, the gas is released. This creates the infamous popping sounds. To do this experiment, you will need 1 2-liter of Coca-Cola, 4 packets of Pop Rocks candy, 4 stretchy latex balloons, a funnel, 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid, and a graduated cylinder. Now it's time to move on to the procedure. Wait, hold up! We have some tips before starting. When doing this lab, make sure you label the bottles on how much Pop Rocks are added and what is in the container. Keep your area clean and try to keep from cross-contamination of any of the materials. You might want to bring extra balloons just in case the balloons break during this lab. And most importantly, have fun. Step 1. Blow up all of your balloons, all to the same size, and then let them deflate. We do this to make sure that they are all stretchy, kind of like our stomachs. Watch as we blow up the balloons, and then let them deflate. And now it's time for step 2. Pour the Pop Rocks into 4 balloons using the funnel. In one balloon, pour in 1/2 of a pack of Pop Rocks. In another balloon, pour in 1 packet of Pop Rocks. In the third balloon, pour 1.5 packets of Pop Rocks. And in the fourth balloon, pour 2 packets of Pop Rocks. Make sure all of the Pop Rocks make it into the balloon. Now it's time for step 3. Into the 4 125 milliliter Erlenmeyer flasks, pour 100 milliliters of Coca-Cola. In one of the flasks, also add 100 milliliters of 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid. Carefully pour the Coca-Cola into the flasks. Make sure the Coke reaches the 100 milliliter line. Now it's time for step 4. Put the balloons on the openings of the flasks. This is the experiment with 1/2 of a pack of Pop Rocks. Notice how almost immediately the balloon is slightly inflated. This means that carbon dioxide is produced. Here's the experiment with 1 pack of Pop Rocks. Notice how she makes sure that every single Pop Rock is out of that balloon and into the flask. Look, you can see that the balloon is starting to inflate. And a few moments later, the balloon is able to stand up by itself. Look at that carbon dioxide. Here's the experiment with 2 packs of Pop Rocks. Look, immediately the balloon is able to stand up by itself. That must be a lot of carbon dioxide. Did you hear them popping?
You can hear it popping.
We went back to the balloons after a short time. We noticed that the balloon with 0.5 packs of Pop Rocks was a lot larger than it was originally. However, it was not as firm as the other 2 balloons. Now it's time for the hydrochloric acid. Pour the 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid into the beaker. Make sure you use a funnel because this stuff is dangerous. Once you finish that, pour the Coke into the flask of the 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid and fill it up to the 200 mark. Now it's time to add the Pop Rocks. We did so with the hydrochloric acid flask, and this was the result. We went back to the experiment a couple hours later to look at our balloons. And this is what they looked like. We went back to the experiment and measured the circumferences of each of the balloons. The 0.5 pack flask was 14.7 centimeters. The 1 pack flask was 15.1 centimeters. The 2 pack flask was 16.3 centimeters. And finally, the 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid flask was 19.2 centimeters. So why did we use HCl? Well, our stomachs contain 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid. The HCl reacts with the food we eat. We wanted to make this experiment as accurate as possible. In the end, we observed that the hydrochloric acid seemed to have an effect on the size of the balloons because its balloon was the largest. We concluded that the circumference of the balloons was determined by the amount of Pop Rocks that were added to the Coca-Cola. If you eat Pop Rocks and drink Coca-Cola in large amounts, it is possible for your stomach to explode. However, not all stomachs are the same size. For this reason, we are unable to estimate the amount it would take to cause an explosion. But don't worry, you probably won't die if you mix the two in very small amounts. We just think you might have a serious case of the burps. But we're not trained professionals, doctors, or chemists. And remember, hydrochloric acid is dangerous in any concentration, so please don't try this at home. Our experiment was safely conducted under the supervision of a trained adult. If you do this experiment or use hydrochloric acid, please do so using the proper laboratory precautions.